Okay, welcome to the Chapter 10, the Entertainment Market, Section 10.2 Presentation Lecture, which is a continuation of the Chapter 10 Entertainment Market, Section 10.1 Presentation Lecture. Same note guide. Make sure you have the note guide with you as we go through Section 2's content so that you can take notes and jot those down and have those as a study tool for upcoming assessments. All right, so let's take a look at the entertainment market as it relates to business structures. Most businesses that produce entertainment for consumers are large corporations with many investors and employees. Think about some of the big entertainment corporations that we know of today. Walt Disney, huge, enormous. Theme parks, amusement parks, as well as movies. And there are other examples out there, but Walt Disney is probably the one that we can relate to the most. Now, most of these businesses started out as single proprietorships or partnerships, and that is true. So they have gotten a chance to go through the entire chain of the three different types of business structures. Started out as a proprietorship, one owner, maybe moved on to a partnership, took on a couple of partners or a partner in order to help with resources and be able to expand, and then eventually coming into a publicly traded corporation, which is what we know of them today. Now, when it comes to major entertainment companies, there's a couple of examples. Walt Disney Company, which was the one I just mentioned. There's also Sony Entertainment. There's Viacom, which is also known as Paramount Pictures. Time Warner Cable Company. Vivendi Universal. The News Corporation, 20th Century Fox, also a movie picture corporation. And when it comes to these companies, they are structured using vertical distribution. Vertical distribution is a term that you will see on the word wall, as well as being referenced in section 10.2 in your textbook. So if you need to, go through and define, or at least reference the definition of vertical distribution so that you can understand how it applies to these major entertainment companies. All right, let's take a look at movies. Films are released by distributors, usually by the studio or related company. They are shown by theaters or exhibitors to the public. When these films are released and they are shown to the public, 4 out of 10 of these films will not break even. That's 40%. So only 60% of the films, a 60% chance that the film is going to break even. That's not even talking about making a profit. That's simply talking about breaking even. And remember, break even is when costs and expenses equal income and revenues. Obviously, the plan and the goal is to have income and revenues exceed costs and expenses because then you become profitable. Now, again with movies, a few large studios, which are the producers of movies, the core of the film business is considered an oligopoly. Now, there are a couple of different market structures that we are familiar with. A monopoly is when we have one particular corporation that dominates the market. An oligopoly is a business situation in which a few firms affect but do not control an industry. So definitely when it comes to movies in the entertainment industry, we're looking at an oligopoly business situation. Independent movie companies are called the indies, and they operate on their own to make films, which means they may not fall into that oligopoly business situation. That's the reason for the term indie, which is short for individual. They're apart from that different structure. All right, let's take a look at movies. Now in 2000, which is 18 years ago, so it's the data is quite old. The breakdown of revenues for film was this. Okay, 46% of video/DVD sales and rentals. Then there was 28% that went to television sales and 26% that was theatrical receipts. Now, if we were to look at this 18 years later, obviously these numbers would be different. And the question would be and this is something for you to think about and possibly research on your own if you wish, is how have those numbers changed over the past 18 years with our current entertainment structure and different technologies available to us to get our entertainment? Theme parks, another form of entertainment. And I'm sure all of us have gotten our chance to visit theme parks before. The first theme parks were called pleasure gardens, and they appeared in Europe around 1550. So long time ago. Theme parks have been around for a lot of years. Of course, over time they have evolved into what we know today, but there was the most basic concept was put into play back in 1550 by by the continent of Europe. Now, Walt Disney planned Disneyland to have exhibits and attractions for all ages. Walt Disney could very well a pioneer for a lot of different things, but he's probably a pioneer too when it comes to theme parks. And he has made his theme parks very profitable and a very sought after destination for vacations for a lot of families all over the country, with Disney World in Orlando and then Disneyland in California. Disney signed sponsors to help pay for Disneyland. If you think about it, it's similar to the sports industry, where corporate sponsors come in to help supplement revenue streams in order for the park to expand, and in order for the entertainment product to improve, thus attracting more consumers. The idea for water parks, which we've been to, I'm sure Wisconsin Dells calls itself the capital water park in the world, in the late 1980s. So those haven't been around all that long, but water parks, nonetheless, a very sought after attraction for a lot of families and a lot of people, especially in the summertime here in Wisconsin, as a way to beat the heat. Now let's take a look at television. Television is the #1 entertainment medium for many Americans. Many households have multiple televisions, more than one. Now the producers of these shows are not necessarily considered to be distributors, which is interesting because that's a little bit different than movies. An independent TV station may decide to become an affiliate. Okay, so what does this affiliate mean, and how can it impact the TV or the television industry? And what it comes down to is an affiliate is an independent broadcaster that contracts with larger national networks for programming. So the affiliates, now we're establishing some type of a hierarchy. And when you have a hierarchy in place, you're going to have royalties that are paid. So for example, let's say we take the television sitcom Friends. Okay, Friends canceled years ago, no longer making new episodes and broadcasting them on TV. However, affiliate stations are purchasing the broadcast right to run reruns and run them in syndication. And by doing that, the Friends franchise, the individuals, the actors, the producers, anybody surrounded with making that television show is going to receive kickbacks or royalties from the advertising revenue that is generated from these television programs, as well as a fee for being able to broadcast those programs in syndication. Now, when it comes to television and determining whether or not a particular program is successful, well, that's done by ratings. Ratings are a type of market research that determines if a program stays on television or if it is dropped. Ratings is the ranking of TV show or radio show popularity within a certain time period. So this is how we know, if we're wondering if a program is going to stay on TV or if it is going to be canceled, it is based off of its ratings. Now, the most famous ratings that a lot of companies will reference is the Nielsen Media Research, which is an independent research firm which researches ratings on particular programming in order to give networks and also producers feedback on whether or not the programming is successful or if it is not. Now, within television, another major revenue stream is advertising. Advertising time can be split between national ads and local ads. And when it comes to the advertising, obviously advertising is going to be more expensive at prime times, and that's going to be the time that's going to be the most expensive. Now, you can run ads at non-prime times, which will be a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to reach quite as many consumers. Niche marketing has expanded into television marketing with a number of cable stations. Niche marketing, which is a type of marketing that focuses on a small group, small target market of consumers who have very similar interests. So another aspect of breaking down that target market into specific demographics and psychographics. And when it comes to prime time, expensive advertising time, the football game that is going to be played on Sunday, known as the Super Bowl, is going to be one of those where it is the most expensive. We're talking in the millions of dollars for 30 seconds ads. And the Super Bowl fills these slots with ease. Radio. Radio stations function as television stations do, pretty much the same type of format. However, we just don't have the picture, but it is still entertainment that we hear, as either independent stations or part of national networks. Radio stations rely on market research to determine the popularity of their programming, as does TV, so it's very similar in that regard. Each category of programming has a specific target market. Now, when it comes to the category of programming in radio, we're talking about different genres. Genres are specifically targeted at meeting a specific target market's needs. Now, when it comes to radio, it's a little bit different because in radio, prime time is the morning drive to work. So we're talking about anywhere from like 6 to 10 o'clock in the morning. That's the time that we get up, get ready for school, get ready for work. We possibly listen to the radio in that time frame. Now, when it comes to the music industry, we love our music. The music industry is dependent on record companies to sign artists that produce and release CDs. CDs are one of the mediums used in order to get music to consumers. Now, record companies make large profits from successful artists who rely on upfront payments and royalties. There's that word again, royalties. So significant percentages of sales of different merchandise that are using that product, that song, that label, that record as the driving force to generate that revenue. The music industry has lost a lot of money as a result of illegal file sharing and downloading music for free on the internet. We've seen sites like Napster, Audio Galaxy, they have been here and gone and shut down because of the illegal piracy sharing of music files. Live performances generate income for the music industry as well. Ticket sales and concerts, I'm sure we've all been to our own concert before. Performing arts. Performing art is a very centralized business today. We've been to the PAC on field trips or for our own entertainment to watch different live performances. Many productions are financed and produced by the same large entertainment companies that produce film and television. So interesting. So now we have another entity coming off of this entertainment market, or coming off this entertainment industry, in which case we have large entertainment companies with their hands in, providing multiple forms of entertainment for multiple consumers. Many popular Broadway shows tour around the country. You might see them coming to the PAC. You might be going to Green Bay. It might be at some of the most popular live Broadway shows over on the East Coast, over in New York City. Internet and computers have also impacted how our entertainment is presented to us and how we consume it. Shopping on the internet has not replaced the brick and mortar store. The brick and mortar store, which is a retail business with a physical location or store site, even though we do a lot of our purchasing now e-commerce wise through the internet, as well as consuming our entertainment through internet mediums. The growth of the video and computer game industry has been steady and expansive. It continues to go more and more graphics, more and more opportunity for consumers to be able to play video games and computer games. So that obviously is still on the rise. When it comes to other entertainment, there are businesses that might include the circus. We have themed restaurants as well, which we've gone to. Buffalo Wild Wings, for example, the opera and the ballet for some of the fine arts consumers. And those are all nonprofit organizations. Nonprofit organizations are non-government organization that focuses on providing a service rather than a profit. Expanding on that goes into a variety of markets. With so many forms of entertainment, marketing professionals have unlimited products to offer to almost any target market. And that is one of the diversities of the entertainment marketing, is because there are so many possibilities within that market itself, which is going to give multiple opportunities for success in marketing that product. Let's take a look at some of the things that we've already discussed. Here are the different entertainment businesses that we discussed. Talk about movies, theme parks, television, radio, the music industry, performing arts, the internet, as well as print. Within each one of these different entertainment options, there are specific target markets that are being reached, or at least being marketed to and communicated to, in order to sell that product and that entertainment type to that particular market. All right, and that concludes our Chapter 10, Section 10.2 presentation lecture. Please make sure and revisit any of the slides as need be so that you can get all the notes and then submit those into Classroom when they are complete. And I will see you I'll see you in our next class. Also, one last note, do not forget to make sure that you watch the Section 10.1 presentation lecture if you haven't already done so to complete the note guide. See you next time we meet in class.